Welcome back to our channel. Bella's laying on her dad right now, and he's kind of making me nervous. So hopefully, I'll make it through this in peace and don't end up smiling or laughing the whole time. But let's talk about acid reflux. Before we got discharged at the hospital, after everybody left the first night, Bella was laying in her bed, and I don't know who noticed it first, me or Tay, but she. Do you know who noticed it first?
You did.
Bella was choking a little bit, and it was at the time that I was still learning how to latch because Bella was breastfed. She was breastfed all the way up until I think it was 7 months, and at the time it was still I was still getting used to breastfeeding. So we were using a supplement that the hospital gave us as well, and she just got done drinking. I think it was one whole. They were trying to keep her on a strict diet, but Bella was starving, so I think she had a bottle and a half. And after she got done drinking, we burped her. She was set up for a minute. I think she set up. Tay had her sitting up on him, and then she ended up laying back down before my mom left. And I think I was trying to go use the bathroom, and then that's when we realized she was choking. So then the nurse was coming in. I'm like, she was choking. I don't understand what was going on. She said it was just the amniotic fluids that still built up in her system from coming out of you. I said, oh, okay. She said it should go away in a few days. So we later on, the next morning, realized she did it again. So we clean her out again. She gets back under control. We're staying in the hospital, I think, for 4 days now, just because Bella wasn't having the proper bowel movement. She wasn't. She's never boo booed by this time, number two. So they were having to, poke and prod her just to see that she was going to learn by herself how to use the bathroom. And she eventually did it on the last day because they were going to discharge me and keep her. But I was just praying that they were going to let her go home with me because I didn't want to leave her at the hospital. I mean, who wants to leave the baby at the hospital as soon as you get them? That's kind of scary. So she finally had a bowel movement, and Tay got Bella dressed. She got her first bath the day that we left. So she, what's wrong? You tied up in the headphones? You want to say hi? Come here. So, so Bella is now. She's had her first bath. She's had her first bowel movement, and she's had her third acid reflux attack that we didn't know it was acid reflux yet. So we end up following up with our doctor, and we end up following up with our doctor that's behind Bella's pediatrician, and our doctor was like, it could be just the amniotic fluid still built up. I'm like, I don't think it's that. I think it's something else. And so now me and Tay were worried because everybody keeps seeing the same thing, and the same thing isn't adding up. So we see another doctor because at Bella's pediatrician, she doesn't have one designated doctor. She has a group of doctors, just like how I had a group of doctors for me before I gave birth, that we can rotate through. We can have a assigned doctor, but I don't like that. I just like the fact that we can get to know new doctors every time we go. Then we can finally pick when she's old enough to really understand them. So one doctor said it was just the amniotic fluids, but the next doctor that we seen was dead on. No, it's acid reflux. I said, what's that? So he's telling us all about it. We're reading about it now, and now it's making a lot more sense that, oh, okay, that's the reason why. What, you want to hold the phone? Oh, oh, you want to put the headphones on the phone? You can't do that.
Can I see?
So now we're like, okay, okay, what can we do about this? They said, well, usually we prescribe medicine for it, but your daughter's not showing any severe signs, so we're going to have to just weigh it out. Usually it takes up to 2 to 3. Did they say 2 to 3 months?
Yeah.
2 to 3 months, and we're like, okay, so what can we do just to make it easier for her? They said just keep her adjusted, just make sure she's elevated at all times. After she gets done eating, make sure you keep her up another 30 minutes so everything can digest the right way. She, she's beating up her dad right now. So make sure everything's digested the right way. Make sure that basically make sure she's comfortable as possible and make sure she's elevated. Don't do that. Say sorry. Say sorry. So now this time, this is I think the third week that we have Bella out the hospital. She's had like a huge amount at this time of acid reflux attack. She has an attack almost every day, every other hour. That's how much she was having it, and it's hurtful to really see your child go through stuff. Bella was in and out the ER
multiple times.
multiple. I think we were in the emergency room. We went to down. We went down. No, we were in the emergency room a total of probably 5 times. We called her doctor probably 10 times, and she's had to get admitted once. She got admitted once, and the time that she got admitted was when it was me, my mom, Tay, his mom. I just got done cooking dinner at the apartment, and my mom and his mom were packing up to go. My mom left, and Tay's mom was still staying with us because we had to be a team. We were in rotation. Everybody had a shift to really watch Bella because we couldn't sleep throughout the night because she would have an attack. Even if we kept her elevated, me and Tay had a rocker in our bed, and we kept her in that rocker. We kept 2 sheets on the sides just so whenever Bella would, if she would tug or roll, because we always kept her, what's that called, in the blanket?
Swaddle.
We always kept her in the swaddler all the time because Bella hated feeling like nobody was touching her. So she stayed in the swaddler. So whenever she always worked her way out of it, we always had the blankets surrounding her, folded up, tucked up, so she would feel like it was either me or Tay around her. And even like that, she would have a reflux attack. So it's not like that what they were telling us was working, but it wasn't working. It wasn't working the best way that we could. They told us don't keep her on her stomach, don't have her on our chest. But that's the only way that Bella would not have an attack if we kept her like that. So that's what we did. You have to find different things that work out for your kids because doctors don't know everything. They know what their book tells you and what they think is right. Only a true parent or somebody who wants something to work for their child knows what's going to work out for them. So, it was a hard process, but we made it through it. And that night that my mom left early and Tay's mom stayed, Tay's mom had Bella up. She fed her. Bella, she stayed in her arms for at least an hour, laying up. I kid not, because Bella was sitting up like like a big girl, because we was just so happy that she was just alert and she was tucked in her arm, looking around at us the whole time. And look down, Bella's choking in mid motion in Tay's mom's arms, and she was choking to the point that Bella couldn't catch her breath, like she stopped breathing. So I'm calling 911. Tay and his mom, they're trying to get her now, and the ambulance is saying they're about to pull up. They're going to be here in a minute, but it's not happening soon enough. So they finally get Bella back. Not the ambulance, Tay and his mom. They finally get Bella back, and the ambulance still isn't there. So we leave. We go straight to the NICU. Is it what it's called? NICU, or the emergency room for the kids downtown. And we're in the waiting room. Seems like we're in the waiting room for hours. Like hours. My mom, Tay's mom, we're all pulling back. We're all in the room, and the doctor finally comes in and was like, well, they said that you've been here since this amount of time. Has she had any more attacks? I'm like, no, she hasn't had any more attacks, but it's still the same thing. Even if we leave here, she's going to have an attack. Like, there needs to be something done about whatever is going on with her. So they admitted her, and they had her plugged up to the machines, and we stayed in the hospital room. I think we stayed there for 3 days, and it was hard. It's hard to see a child like that, and especially when they're so little, and they can't help themselves. And then the only thing that they can do is just look at you and depend on you to help them, and you don't even know what to do for them. So we tried our best. It was a real team effort. Tay had to motivate me. I had to motivate him, but it was a hard ass process. And the doctor came back in And she was like, I just want to see how you feed her. We show her how I feed her. We show her how we keep her up afterwards and stuff. And she was like, well, she's not severe, because if it was severe, I'm like, you're saying it's not severe, but it is severe if we're having to be in the emergency room because she's not breathing. It's just not making any sense. They tell us again, there's nothing they can do about it. And hi, baby. Hi. It's time to get up.